The great stone castles that dot the British landscape have been a part of our history for hundreds of years. Kings have called them home, and armies have laid siege to them. Today, some are in great shape, and some are in ruins. Some are still royal residences, while some are popular wedding venues. Welcome back to the Top Trendy Info channel. If it's your first time here, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell for fast-hand info as they happen. Many of these ancient buildings have guests who are not always welcome, though. These uninvited residents have frightened generations of inhabitants and visitors with their groans, bumps, and phantom forms. Here we go on a terrifying tour of 7 of the most famous haunted castles in Britain. 1. Glamis Castle, Angus, Scotland. Since the 14th century, Glamis Castle has served as the Lyon family's ancestral home. It is also where Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon, King Charles's maternal grandmother, spent her childhood. Glamis is a beautiful castle in the Scottish countryside about 10 miles north of Dundee that draws a lot of tourists every year. However, it is also said to be Scotland's most haunted location. A portion of the many phantoms rumored to call Glamis home are the phantoms of individuals from the Ogilvy tribe, secured and left to bite the dust in a mystery chamber in 1486, the Dark Woman, Baron Bairdai, who lost his spirit to Satan in the 15th 100 years, and the Speechless Lady. The Speechless Lady is the phantom of a young lady who is seen highlighting her mouth with blood running from it and down her jaw. This is the ghost of a maid who learned a secret that only the Earl knew, and he wanted to keep it that way, so he had her tongue cut out. There are more windows apparent outwardly of the palace than can be seen as within. These are the unbelievable mystery offices of Glamis, which as per the story, were home to the beast of Glamis, a child of the Baron brought into the world in the 1900 years and residing until the 1920s. Purposely kept from view, his reality was a nearby privileged bit of information. 2. Fyvie Castle, Aberdeenshire, Scotland. Previous regal home Fyvie Palace, in the Upper East of Scotland, seems to be a straight thing from a phantom story, with its standing suits of shield and hanging representations whose eyes pursue you around the room. In 1920 the renowned occupant phantom known as the Green Woman was seen drifting through a palace entry prior to vanishing into a wall. This is the apparition of Lilias Drummond, who passed on in 1601 and may have been killed. Rumors have spread far and wide suggesting that a stain of blood on the floor of one of the rooms, still noticeable today, came from Lilias. It is asserted that this stain cannot be removed with water. It is said that assuming you are in a room in the palace and it unexpectedly feels cold and scents of roses, then, at that point, you are within the sight of the Green Woman. The crying baby, whose sobs can be heard coming from the castle's thick walls, is one of Fyvie's other ghosts. It could be the ghost of a baby whose skeleton was discovered in a 19th-century bricked-up chimney. 3. Dover Castle, Kent, England. Quite possibly of the most popular palace in England is Dover Palace, a tremendous fortification which is known as the Key of Britain. Its set of experiences traces all the way back to the Romans, and the current palace is generally 12th 100 years with later adjustments. With this great legacy, apparition stories are practically inescapable. Numerous sightings of different ghosts have happened at the palace throughout the long term, including as late as the late 20th 100 years, when a cleaner at the palace professed to have seen the phantom of a 17th-century fighter. The king's bedroom in the keep has been traversed by the startling apparition of a pair of man's legs. In 1991 an American couple at the palace answered to staff that they had heard abhorrent screeches and groans while visiting an underground piece of the structure. After that, a search turned up no one there. 4. Stirling Castle, Stirling, Scotland. The Great Stirling Palace, in the focal point of Scotland, was for a really long time a vital fort and imperial castle. In 1297, close to the castle, William Wallace won a famous battle against the English, and Mary Queen of Scots lived there for a long time. Stirling Palace, with its rich history, has its reasonable portion of phantoms. According to one legend, Mary Queen of Scots' maidservant discovered a fire in her lady's chamber at Stirling Castle one day. The young lady hauled Mary out of the consuming room and saved her life. Some believe that seeing the maid's ghost is a sign of a fire or other disaster, and that the maid's ghost is known as the Green Lady. It has been observed that the apparition of a young girl walks between the church and the castle. Wearing pink, she has been known as the Pink Woman. 5. Tower of London, Greater London, England. One of London's most popular tourist spots is likewise supposedly it's generally spooky. Over its 1,000-year history, the Tower of London has served as a royal palace, prison, armory, mint, menagerie, torture chamber, and tourist destination. It should come as no surprise that it is sometimes referred to as the single most eerie location in the world. The spirits of the two youthful rulers in the pinnacle, who were conceivably, however no one knows for certain, killed by their uncle Richard III in 1483, has purportedly been found in the ridiculous pinnacle. Henry VI, Guy Fawkes, Lady Jane Grey, and Anne Boleyn are just a few of the famous ghosts that have been seen or heard in the Tower of London over the years. The ghost of a gigantic bear has been seen a few times nearby the Martin Pinnacle, the site of the previous illustrious zoological garden. Sir Walter Raleigh was an Elizabethan explorer and statesman who spent 13 years in the Tower of London before being executed in Westminster. Sir Walter would walk the bastions of the pinnacle for workout, and in the ensuing hundreds of years, many case to have seen his phantom doing likewise. 6. Windsor Castle, Berkshire, England. Windsor Palace, the strong illustrious home only west of London, resembled the pinnacle of London worked by William the Victor. Over 1,000 rooms make up the vast medieval castle complex that is Windsor Castle. Although it continues to be a popular official royal residence, not all of its regal inhabitants are living. It is said that its many rooms and passages are haunted by a number of famous British kings and queens. Over the years, witnesses have claimed to have seen and heard Henry VIII's ghost. A frightful crashing would scare those that heard it, the soul of the ruler limping all over the palace's hallways, shouting out in torment from his sensitive leg. Since then, it appears that some fellow royals have seen the spectre of Queen Elizabeth I in the castle's royal library. The Tudor sovereign is dressed all in dark and strolls across the room prior to evaporating into a wall. One of the many houses and castles in England where Anne Boleyn, Elizabeth I's mother who was executed by Henry VIII, has been seen in a phantom form is Windsor Castle. 7. Peel Castle, Isle of Man. On the Little St. Patrick's Isle, simply off the west shore of the Isle of Man, lies one of the island's most popular vacation destinations, the monumental Strip Palace. The Irish sea battered the sea fort, and construction on the castle began in the 11th century. Maybe Strip Palace's most infamous fascination is a phantom from Manx old stories, the unearthly canine known as Magadheera. Sightings of the ghost dog have been accounted for around the palace for quite a long time. In the mid-18th 100 years, an English writer, George Waldron, related how the phantom canine was once known to torment each room of the palace. Waldron recounted the tale of how a warrior experienced the phantom one evening and got back to the gatekeeper room a basket case, prattling incongruously and kicking the bucket 3 days after the fact. The English creator Sax Rohmer once remained at the palace and, quick to examine the story, professed to have found where the doomed fighter met the Magadheera. Rohmer, who believed that the ghost had its beginnings among old agnostics, revealed hearing blood-turning sour wails and growls, similar to a canine, coming from the spooky section. Kindly keep following for more updates. Tell us what you think about this on the comments section and don't forget to subscribe to this channel.